Hello. Well, no one's watching yet, but how's everybody doing? Oh my goodness. It's been a little while since I've done a live. So, I thought it would be fun. This is my new place. Maybe we will do an apartment tour because I live alone now. So, I might show y'all around. I'm in Toronto. Hi, Ashley. I'm in Toronto, and yeah, I really like my place. It's cool living alone. It's a change. I thought it was gonna. Hi, Nigel. I thought it was gonna be difficult, living alone. But to be honest, I'm actually kind of happier. Like, it's not that like living at home is bad. Like, I love being with my family. Like, I miss my family. But in terms of getting things done, like doing things with my day, I do a lot more. I've been doing a lot more since I've been in Toronto. Like, when I live alone, I think that I hold myself to a higher standard of productivity, maybe. I've been up to stuff, right? So, yeah, I'm enjoying it. And I think that, when I do go back home, I'll try and still live like this. But anyways, I'm here to answer questions. So whatever questions you have for me, please put them in the comments, because usually I like play the guitar or something, but this time I just want to like answer questions and speak with you guys. So someone asked what my favorite band is. It's the Beatles. But to be honest, I can't lie. I haven't been listening to much of the Beatles lately. I've been listening to a lot more rap music lately. Because the thing is, I'm going to the gym, and when you're in the gym, the Beatles aren't the best motivator. It's great music, but it's not the best. Someone asked me if I like to read. So I do. I don't read that much. But I want to read more. I actually watched a TED Talk yesterday about, this is what I do when I live alone. I watch TED Talks. I watched one where basically it was this woman speaking about no, I'm not, Addison, no. Sorry. Because then they're all going to go to I can't. Anyway, sorry. I was watching a TED Talk where a woman was talking about the benefits of reading, and reading fiction, not reading nonfiction, but reading, stories. And basically what happens is they did a study on the brain. Addison, stop. They did a study on the brain where they looked at what happened in someone's brain after reading fiction versus nonfiction. And essentially what they found is that when they did brain scans and they showed the imagery the next day, it showed that the people's brains, what they read, it looked like a brain when they actually go through an experience. It was a little bit less intense, but so for example, when you go through fear, right? When you go through a fearful experience, then it shows in the brain, pathways in the brain are active. When you read about that, it's not as strong, but the same areas of the brain are developed. So it's kind of like when you're reading, as far as your brain concerned, it's almost like you're actually going through it. And so it makes your brain stronger, it creates new pathways. And each time you read, the pathways get thicker and, more established. So it was talking about hi Genevieve. I was talking about, just reading and basically all the interesting things it does for your brain. And I'm not a big reader at all. I'm not I can't say that I'm not a nerd, but I'm not a reading one. Just that, and not that there's anything wrong with being a reading nerd. Reading, I'm advocating for reading. I've just never liked it that much. In and out. In some periods, I really have enjoyed it when I found a good series to read. But in general, I'm not one of those people that's a reader that's always reading a book. But I think I might have to be. I think I should start. Salve. Salve, parli come Matteo. Do I like Drake now? Yeah. There's a few Drake songs I listen to. I'm like the whitest person alive to be listening to rap. I know. I can't even take myself seriously, but I enjoy it. In the gym, just in the gym, it gets you pumped up. You know what I mean? I don't know. Makes you feel a little bit stronger. So, yeah. I like Non-Stop. Non-Stop is my favorite Drake song. Can I speak a bit of Portuguese? Eu posso falar português, se quiser. É muito que fala com você. Yeah. When did I go back to Toronto? I went back to Toronto, I got here 2 weeks ago now. It's been, I think, exactly 2 weeks to the day. And it's been great. I love the city. I love the place. I'm happier in Toronto this time than I've ever been, which is good because I've been here twice so far. And I've enjoyed myself, but this time more than any other time, like I said. So far, and I've only been here 2 weeks. I'm in a better area this time too. I'm more downtown. Right now, I'm learning German. I can actually I have the Babbel tab open right now for German. German and Portuguese. Portuguese is like a very inactive learning experience, as in, I don't really study it. I just learn it by speaking because, hi Maya, yeah, of course I remember you. I just learn it by speaking because it's very similar to Spanish, so you can just kind of get along like that. And you don't really need to. I mean, I don't really need to. Anyways, because of Spanish. But if also Portuguese and Italian or French and Italian helps too. You're in Berlin while learning German for a few years. Tell me how it is. Eso es lo que estaba haciendo, sí. But yeah, German is my because the thing about French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, it's difficult, but it's not as far as languages go, they're all level 1. So I think I don't know who it was, the US military maybe, or someone did a study about, because obviously being in the military, there's a section of the military that teaches foreign languages to go over to other countries, right? And so they ranked the languages based on difficulty. They had a whole system. And I'm pretty sure that French, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese are all in their level 1. And level 2, I'm pretty sure German was just on its own in the level 2. And then it goes down to, I think, probably Arabic or Mandarin. Maybe Russian would be level 3 because it's sort of half of the Latin alphabet. I'm not really sure. We can actually find it. Before I did this live, I thought I should have my laptop here in case I needed to look something up, and now it's working. So language difficulty, language categories. They I think they ranked it based on how many hours it would take to become fluent in the language. Okay. Classification. All right, let's see. So, category 1 languages are languages that you should be able to learn between 575 to 600 hours of studying. These include Afrikaans. This is coming from an English perspective, obviously. But if you speak one of these languages, I'd assume it's also the same thing. These being Afrikaans, Danish, Dutch, French. Oh, German is also category 1. Sorry, I was wrong. I thought German was category 2. German, Italian, Norwegian, Portuguese, Romanian, Spanish, Swedish. And I'm assuming there are some smaller languages that would be a part of this, like Catalan, which is a language spoken in Spain. Gallego, how do you call that? Galician. and yeah, some other smaller like Romance languages. All the Romance languages would probably be in this. All the like languages that come from Latin. Now you've got category 2 languages, which they say would take 1,100 class hours. This includes Albanian, Amharic, I think that's how you pronounce it, Armenian, Azerbaijani, so now we're getting into different alphabets, Bengali, Bosnian, Bulgarian, Burmese, Croatian, Czech, Estonian, Finnish, Georgian, Greek, Hebrew, Hindi, Hungarian, Indonesian, Icelandic, I don't even know what that is, Lao, Latvian, Lithuanian, Macedonian, Malay, you guys get the point. These kind of languages. Vietnamese, Tagalog, Swahili. Now we have category 4 languages, which is all varieties of Arabic, then Cantonese, Mandarin, Japanese, and Korean. And that's, I mean, obviously those are not all the languages in the world, but those are probably all the languages that they teach in the category system. So yeah, that's the ranking. Anyways, we'll try and talk about something other than languages for once. My favorite book ever would be the Harry Potter series. It would be, and yeah, Harry Potter. Also, I read Michael Caine's autobiography. He's an actor, and I absolutely loved that book. Someone said Greek is not so hard. Yeah, tell me how hard Greek is. Because, I don't know, this website says it's very, very difficult. Hi, Casey. My favorite instrument is a guitar. Gracias, Michelle. And my favorite movie is Forrest Gump. Am I going to play Hogwarts Legacy? To be honest, I don't know. It's not that I don't like Harry Potter anymore, but it's just, that was when I was a kid. Right? Would I want to learn sign language? Yeah, I think sign language would be, it would be very useful. It would be one of those languages that you think you wouldn't need it until one moment where you're so glad that you have it, you know? I mean, the thing is, because I don't live in any foreign country, basically all the languages that I have, that I speak are like that. Like, you know, I do have friends that I speak with in Portuguese and in Spanish and in Italian, so I'll always speak those. But like French, I never ended up in Paris, and I don't really have any Paris friends, but funny story, I am going to Montreal tomorrow. They speak French in Montreal, so like I'm saying, sometimes the languages are you don't really need them until you do, and then it's really great that you have them. Now, in Montreal, they also speak English, but I would prefer to speak French there, because that's sort of the traditional language, right? The first language of the place, and I like speaking a different language if I get the chance. So, yeah, sign language I think would be, you know, and I feel like sign language would be really meaningful to the people that I would communicate with, you know, because it's a language that, you know, is really only learned for the one purpose, for people that are hard of hearing, right? And so if I as a hearing person learn sign language, it would like mean a lot to people. So one day. But then there's like which one to learn, because I had no idea about this. I thought that sign language was a universal thing, but I found out that I was so wrong. I don't know why I thought that, but I always thought that, yeah, sign language was a universal sign language. But no, there's someone, an Italian friend of mine corrected me on that. Someone said American Sign Language is Canadian Sign Language. I just looked that up today. I thought that in Canada, what I read, maybe it was wrong, they speak American Sign Language, but then there's also a Quebecois like of Canadian French sign language. So that isn't obviously American. So that's interesting. What's my favorite series? Well, I just finished watching Elite, and that was a really, really, really good series. Love the cast of that show. I mean, well, sorry, I didn't finish watching. I finished watching the 3rd season, and I was told after season 3 that I should stop by a few people. So, I never did end up watching the 4th season and beyond. I also heard that the cast changes. So, yeah. Aprender otro idioma es muy difícil. A ver, depende del idioma que quieres aprender, pero en general creo que decimos que es súper difícil, pero al final no es tan difícil como pensamos, es lo que diría. Es difícil, pero en plan solo requiere un poco de trabajo cada día y vamos. No creo que sea tan difícil como pensamos, eso es. People have been telling me that I look like Noah Schnapp for a long time. This is old news. Wie geht's dir? Mir geht's gut. Und dir? German is it's difficult. It's difficult. Anyways, let's look at some more questions. I already answered favorite band. Oh, wait, what did I do? Okay, wait, hold up. Sorry. I never do this. Someone asked if I'm still making movies. Well, not movies, but TV show. That's why I'm in Toronto. I'm still an actor. Still want to be an actor for life. Yeah. Let's see. Someone said, I think if you heard you'll love Turkish, maybe one day you'll learn Turkish. I actually have met a couple people from Turkey, and I have to say, Turkish sounds absolutely gorgeous it sounds really pretty. It's really nice to listen to. Like, English speakers, we always say that, Spanish sounds very pretty or Italian sounds very pretty, and that's true. But, so, Turkish also does, in my opinion. So maybe one day. The thing is, for me, I have to have a reason to learn the language, right? I think, because I've looked into a couple languages before that I didn't end up learning really fully, just because maybe I have a reason, but not enough of a reason, right? So German, I have a really good reason because I have a really good friend from Germany, right? And so, and French, I had a good reason. Spanish, I had a very good reason. Italian, I had an excellent reason. German, I have an excellent reason. Portuguese, I have an excellent reason. And I think that if we're all and anyways, even if you don't know someone, an excellent reason to learn a language, I can tell you from experience, is just to be able to go to the place and speak with them. I can say this with 100% honesty. I have not had a better experience in life than sitting at a Spanish dinner table with natives speaking Spanish and just feeling like it was just normal. Like I could just do it. That it was far and away the most special experience I ever had. So, and I've lived, it's not like I'm old, but I've lived the whole 18 years and I've lived a really lucky life. So for all the stuff that I've done, for that to be the most special, that should say something, right? I don't know, I'm just trying to inspire you a little bit. Cause yeah, I don't know. I think it's great. And also if we all learned a couple other languages, the world would be a little bit more connected and we would understand each other a little bit more. And I think when we understand each other, we avoid conflict. So, yeah, I think it's a lot more powerful. I know I sound like a nerd right now, and all the people near my age probably think that, but that's fine. I really believe in what I'm saying. So, Maya, I learned Spanish. So I started with Babbel. I'll type it for anyone else that wants it. Babbel, Babbel. And basically, I think that Babbel helps with the basics in any language. And then once it helps to have someone to speak with. Doesn't have to be a native speaker, just someone that you can speak with, so that you can get used to thinking. Actually, the next episode of my podcast. I should plug the. Hang on, I'm going to do a little bit of shameless promotion of my podcast right now. I think that's correct. And then how do I pin that? There we go. So the podcast I'm doing is about teaching English, but in the next episode, which comes out tomorrow, I talk about I talk about two things. I talk about general tips to sounding more native in a language, and then I talk about tips specific for English. So the general part might help you, but probably not. Basically just Babbel first, and then if you can find someone to speak with, that would help. And then once you've attained a level where you can speak and say a little bit and you can understand a little bit, I would start listening to a podcast as soon as you can. And it doesn't have to be super easy necessarily. Jump into something that you won't understand at the start. That's how you learn, right? And I literally spent hours, every word and phrase that I didn't understand, translating and just getting it to memory, learning kind of by brute force. And then also talking was the way that I learned the most, just speaking with native speakers. So that's what I recommend. Yeah. My favorite country that I've been to, I always have a hard time choosing between Spain and Italy. Both countries are so special to me for different reasons. But I had amazing experiences in both, so I won't choose between them. I'll just say Spain and Italy. But I mean, the thing is, I've been to Mexico. I loved it, but I didn't really see Mexico. I saw the tourist parts, you know what I mean? So I don't really know if I can comment. And then I also have been in England, and I really liked it, especially the north. And yeah, that's it. Well, I've been in Germany and Switzerland, the airports. So the Zurich Airport is top notch. I gotta say though, I mean, I didn't see anything else from Switzerland, but I can tell you that Zurich Airport is awesome. Everything in Zurich is luxury. Even the Burger King in Zurich is really nice. It's for real luxurious. It's Burger King. And then, of course, they have the fancy shops, Rolex and all this. When will I go to Florida and become the Florida man? That's to be determined. But yeah, Zurich Airport, highly recommend. If you have to have a layover somewhere, I would say Zurich is the place to go if you're going to Europe. Obviously, if you're going to Africa, there's no reason to go to Zurich. How did I come up with the idea for the podcast? Great question. No one's asked me this yet. I've been waiting. I was in Los Angeles, and I've been expecting someone to ask me this for so long, and I realized I didn't even have the answer. I was in LA, and I was watching some YouTuber that I can't remember the name of, because it's not someone that I follow, but it was just one video talking about how he basically said something along the lines of, my life got so much better when I started creating content instead of consuming, right? Because all we do these days is consume, right? A lot of us, myself included, up until a little while ago, up until literally 5 days ago, so I can't talk. But we live in a society of consumption, right? We with TV, with YouTube, with sports, with TikTok, social media in general, right? It's all about consumption. And and this person was just basically talking about how much it helped their mental health and their feelings just in general and their life when they started creating instead of just consuming. And it doesn't need to be on social media like I'm doing, but creating, like, I don't know, like if you have a skill, teaching it to people in person, right? Things like that. Just when people basically talking about how their life got a lot better when they started producing something for others. And so I was thinking about that, and I just sat there and I thought, well, okay, what do I know? What can I talk about? I thought about talking about acting, but I'm not an expert on acting. I'm 18 years old, and I don't have, I don't think I have the credits to go out there and be like, oh yeah, so this is how you act, and this is this. I'm at the very beginning of my career, and so that kind of went off the table. I mean, I know a lot about the acting business, but I felt that just wasn't right. And also, acting for me is, like, it is my thing, as in it's what I do, it's what I've been doing, and I love it. But I didn't start it for myself, right? My parents, ultimately, because I was 4 years old, were the ones that got me in. Did they force me in? No. Do they expect me to do anything? No. The only reason I'm still an actor is because I still want to be an actor. That's it. No one's telling me to do this. No one's asking me to do this. Nothing. I can quit whenever I want. I just love it, so I won't ever quit. That being said, it still has never felt to me my thing. It's felt like I got really lucky and I fell into it and I just happened to love it. And that's great. I got a really good stroke of luck. Fine. I'm really happy about that. I'm super grateful. I think I'm the most grateful person in the world for that. But nevertheless, it's not really my thing. So I was thinking about what is me? What did I choose to get into? And what am I going to continue being into? And languages is kind of that for me. No one told me to learn French, right? I just decided to one day. And from there came other languages and just passion for travel and languages and everything. That to me is more my thing. Hola, Ivan. That to me is more my thing, right? So that's why I decided to talk about it. But then I thought, well, okay, I'm not going to teach other languages because that would be kind of, presumptuous of me. So I decided to teach English. And then I was really nervous because I'm not an English teacher, Thanks, Danny, for your support. I'm not an English teacher, right? I'm 18 years old. I've never been to university. I never studied anything. So when I had this idea, I sort of sat on this idea to make a podcast for a long time, for about 2 weeks. It's not like I had the idea and I was like, great, let's go. Not at all. I sat on it for a long time because I was just thinking, no one's gonna, why would they listen to me? I'm 18 years old and I'm not an English professor. No one has absolutely any reason. That's what I thought. But, I convinced myself because, first of all, I just wanted to do it, right? Regardless of what people thought, I just wanted to do it. And so I decided, well, if I want to do it, let's just do it. If it crashes and burns and sucks, so be it. That's life, right? At least I tried something. But the other thing is, I would say I really know how to learn a language by now. I've learned 3, almost 3.5. I'm on my 5th, right? So 5th foreign language. I think I know how to do that. And if I know how to do that and I've had success and I've used it, I don't have like the certifications on paper, right? But I have Spanish speaking friends, como Ivan, that could tell you that I speak Spanish, right? And I don't have anything to show you on a resume or any paper to be like, this is here's my level of Spanish. I don't have that, but the fact is that I can use it in real life, right? And that's so, I just figured, okay, I guess I know enough to help people learn. I wasn't gonna teach, and I'm not teaching any grammar. In my second episode, I do a little bit of teaching, but it's just basic things that we use every day, things that I also am justified to be teaching about because I use them every day, right? Do you think it's difficult to teach English if it isn't your native language? Well, I wouldn't know. English is my native language. However, if I, for example, started trying to teach people Spanish, because Spanish, out of the languages that I speak, is my best one. Yeah, it would be difficult. But I mean, I think that if you speak at an almost native level, why shouldn't you be able to teach beginners at least? I feel like I know enough Spanish that I could teach beginners how to speak Spanish. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I feel like I know enough at this point where if one of my friends came and said, Dylan, I really want to learn Spanish, I only want to learn from you, and they didn't want to do anything online, because I always recommend that people go to Babbel. That's what I used. I didn't have anyone, I mean, I had people to help me, but I didn't have any grammar course or any special teacher to help me. So I always recommend people do that. But if someone came to me and said, here, you teach me Spanish, then I would make a program for them, and I think that I could. Delaire, if you really want to, I'm serious. If there's any of my friends watching this that actually want to and would pay me like a little bit of money, like I'm talking $500-600 only, then I'd be in. So yeah. Hola Daniel, ¿qué tal? Cada vez que veo tu nombre no me lo puedo creer que nos vimos una vez en el aeropuerto. Es increíble esa historia. Bueno, but yeah. DC or Marvel? I'm a DC fan. Well, yeah. No, I have to be. I played Superman. But I was also a DC fan before. Just that I was a Flash fan, not Superman. But now I like both. Tú es estúpido. Good try, Delaire. Almost. It'll be tú eres. Daniel, mis amigos me están preguntando para ayuda en español. Y me han dicho, tú es estúpido. Can I say... Someone asked me if I can say something, but they wrote it in... I don't... It looks like Arabic to me. I might be wrong. I don't know how to pronounce... That's the thing. The thing about a different alphabet is I have absolutely no idea what to do. So I would read it out, but... Danny, I am reading your comments, yeah. Where can you listen to my podcast? You can go to my website, englishwithdylan.com, or you can go on Spotify, or you can go on Google Podcasts, and soon you'll be able to go on Apple Podcasts, and you can also go on Amazon Music. I'm trying to go everywhere. I'm getting there. So yeah, Apple takes the longest. They're the stingiest about approving podcasts, but Spotify was right away. A few days. Danny, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so $1,000 cada hora para tus clases. Vale, pues ya tengo una idea de cuánto puedo pedir. My favorite song at the moment is I want to say Danza Kuduro. It's so, I know it's old and whatever, but it's so, like, good feelings. I love it. Am I learning Brazilian Portuguese or European? I'm learning Brazilian Portuguese. Sorry to all the Europeans that I will offend. I'm only learning Brazilian just because I have a Brazilian friend. So, if I had met someone from Portugal, then I would be learning it from Portugal. But yeah. made more sense for me to learn. And also, I mean, statistically, it makes a lot more sense to learn Brazilian because I think there are 210 million people in Brazil, and yeah, and between languages is just because they're similar, right? So, for example, when I was learning Italian, I always said es instead of which means it is, right? That's makes sense because it's one letter difference. Um, but actually, since I started learning German, I was trying to speak Portuguese just like someone the other day, and I kept wanting to say ich instead of eu, and I was like, wow, those languages aren't similar at all, but I was still getting confused. So, yeah, I get confused between all of them, I guess, especially when I'm not good at one yet. You know, I'm not good at German, and I'm not really good at Portuguese, so I got those two mixed up. I don't confuse anything with Spanish anymore because the thing is, when you get really good in one, it's just kind of solidified in your brain and it doesn't leak out into confusion, right? Maybe if I learned, like, well, no, that's not true because sometimes when I speak Portuguese, but when I speak Portuguese, it's not that I get confused, it's that I genuinely think it's going to be one thing. I think it's going to be more similar to Spanish than it is. Like, for example, to say we have in Spanish is tenemos, but to say in Portuguese, it's, well, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's like temos. But when I was first learning Portuguese, I assumed that it would be the same. So I just said tenemos. And my Brazilian friend was like, no, it's temos. Very similar, but different, right? So things like that where it's not really a mistake. It's more, well, it is a mistake, but it's more so that I just think that it's going to be more similar than it is. And especially with verbs, I just assume that verbs are going to be the same if I don't know what it is. And sometimes I'm right. Do I speak Ohio? No, that's some things are even out of my league, Patty. And that's definitely one of them. So, yeah, I just had to accept that. Let's see what other questions we got. You're watching a series of unfortunate events right now. Do I miss the show? Yes. That was one of the most interesting shoots I've had. I got really lucky to be on that show. There's a lot of talent on that set too, and some really, really, high level actors. So yeah. I do. Well, I mean, I don't know. People always ask me like if I miss things. I don't really miss a whole lot of things. I look back fondly, but I don't wish that I was still there. I feel like missing something is like when you wish that it was still like when you wish that you're still involved in that, or you wish it was still going well. Hi, Katana. Thank you. I don't wish that I was still doing it, but yeah, I look back fondly. It was nice. Danny, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do solo live today. All right, let's find other questions. What country would I like to visit? Let's do a top 5. Number 1. Okay, I'll do countries that I haven't visited, because the truth is that Italy and Spain would be both in the top 5, but I've already been there. So, say number 1, Brazil. Well, not in any particular order, okay? Just all of them the same. I'm not picking favorites, but Brazil, Germany, Argentina, maybe, I don't know which part of Africa. I'd like to see all of it, to be honest. There's more than 5 countries that I'd like to see. I also want to see Australia. I want to see France. I haven't even been in France yet. Scotland, Ireland, all of it. I'm not even going to choose, actually. But this year, I should, if everything goes well, if everything goes how it should go, I'll be in Brazil and Germany. And others, but I've already been there. Oi, Julia. Eu aprendi pouco mais português. Depois quando falamos, tô ainda aprendendo. Is what I can say. But, yeah, so this year I should see Germany and Brazil. Should be the new countries that I see. Germany in the summer and Brazil for New Year's. That's the plan. So, yeah. But none of this is booked. What's my ethnicity? Well, my grandma was Austrian. Also part of the reason why I'm interested in learning German, because she spoke German. So my grandma, and I wish that I'd been interested in it when I was younger, because she could have maybe taught me some herself, fortunately, but that's okay. My grandma spoke German. She was from Austria. One of my grandfathers was born in England, and that's about it. Everything else is, I mean, eventually it all goes back to Europe, if that's what you're asking. I'm European. I don't have any, like, anywhere else. I mean, I'm sure I do way back somewhere. I'm not even sure. Why would I say I'm sure? No, as far as I've seen back in my family tree, I'm English, really, is where it all goes back to. English and Irish. But I mean, eventually we all go back to Africa. Eventually, like hundreds of thousands of years ago. So, yeah. Or is it millions of years ago? I don't even know. A long time ago. But yeah, the closest countries that I have descendants from, or that I have ancestors from, are Austria and England. When I watch football, my favorite team is Newcastle. By the way, I'm really into football now. Really into football. So if you guys want to put in new topics to talk about in the lives, I'm so into it. I follow La Liga, Serie A, and Premier League, and also Champions League. And Bundesliga a little bit. Bundesliga, my team is Dortmund. And also Düsseldorf. But Düsseldorf is not in the top Bundesliga. So it's like most people don't follow it. But yeah, I'm a Newcastle fan above all else. So my teams are Newcastle, Real Madrid, Torino, e poi Dortmund. PSG, I really love Lionel Messi, of course. Like, who doesn't? Well, the only people that don't love Messi are fans of Real Madrid, because they're usually Ronaldo fans. So, but I started being a fan of Real Madrid after Ronaldo left, aka this past year. So, and I'll tell you the reason why I've chosen all these teams. Newcastle is because my granddad was born there. That's my team by blood, right? That's my top team. So, for example, next year when Newcastle plays in the Champions League, because they will, I'll be cheering for them above all else. But when I do follow La Liga, I like Real Madrid because I've been in Madrid. I've been to a Real Madrid game. That was my first ever European football game, so I chose them. I know it's kind of like hopping on the bandwagon because they're like the most famous team, but I'm sorry. What can I say? I have a reason, at least. But if someone gives me a reason to switch teams, I will. You know, I'm not dedicated. Okay, I'm dedicated to Torino in Serie A. Dedicated. And I'm kind of set on Dortmund. I just don't want to support Bayern because I like Bayern because there's Alphonso Davies, who's Canadian, but they win every time, so it wouldn't be fun to support them. So, yeah, Germany's Düsseldorf and Dortmund. That's pretty set. Italy is Torino, but in Spain, my loyalty is kind of right now Real Madrid, but like, you know, if I in the future gain a reason to support another team, I will. I'm not set on being a Madrid fan for my whole life. So, but Newcastle, absolutely. I will never support another Premier League team. Never, ever, ever. So if you're from Spain, and you give me a really good enough reason to support another team aside from Madrid, maybe I'll switch. Maybe I'll switch. Probably the reason that I would switch would be if I just like made a really close friend from somewhere else, like Barca. I have a friend in Barcelona, but I haven't like been there. So, you know, Madrid is my team for now. Which team do I prefer from Uruguay? Unfortunately, I don't know any football teams in Uruguay. I've only been following European football. I haven't started following any South American football. I feel like if I did, I would just spend all day on football. So for now, I'm in Europe. But if I get more into it and I get, you know, a reason to follow South American, then I'll let you know. Hi, Kyle. Nice to see you, kind of. I know one of Newcastle's best players right now, Miguel Almirón, is from Paraguay. So, gracias Paraguay para él, porque es increíble. And yeah. Anyways, I've been doing this live for like 45 minutes, so I think I'm going to end it for now. But thank you to all of you that have been watching the whole time or that joined halfway. And I hope that you all have a really great day. It is the end of the day in the Eastern time zone. You might be on the next day already. Yeah, have a good week, everybody. And I'll do one of these again kind of soon. So, yeah, goodbye.